Hi there, and welcome to my Stellaris Let's Play, Advanced Strategy, Tips and Tricks. This is episode 19. In this episode, I'm going to look at automating colonies, deep space black sites, Galactic Council resolutions, picking a Federation type, and technology pacts. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Welcome back to the League. The year is 2276. We have a very large number of planets. We have a single tributary species, the Galactic Foundation, and this race is now our subject. We've got a real glut of alloys stored up, plenty of influence, plenty of resources, and we are the most powerful member of the galactic community. So let's get going. The first thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going through my planets, and I'm just going to do that without showing you, and I'm just going to be continuing doing the rebalancing that I was doing earlier. So for instance, just on a world like this world here, I'm probably going to build another administrative office, and I'll also build a city district too, just to get rid of the overcrowding that I've got at the moment. Overall, what I'm going to be trying to do is keep my minerals up above 100. My energy I'm not really going to worry too much about. That one I want to keep above 25 to 50, but anything positive is fine. The important thing is I'm going to keep my mineral income high, which will allow me to continue building new districts. Because at this rate, I'm going to be needing new districts on quite a few of my worlds, quite a lot. Now, I could take some of these worlds I've got, some of these sectors, and I could automate them. Now, I wouldn't recommend you automate them. In essence, the computer is going to build stupid buildings, it's going to waste resources on these things, and it's not going to manage the planets anything like as well as you could. I've only got 3 planets really here that I could automate in sectors. I could automate some of my core worlds as well by using this, setting them to automation. And then also, if you wanted to do that, you would go to planets and sectors, and you'd want to increase the amount of resources in the shared stockpile by passing in possibly some minerals and some energy, and probably give the monthly allowance to them as well. But as I said, I really wouldn't recommend that you do that, because by doing that, you're going to harm your overall income. It's basically something that you can do if you, as I said, if you don't have the time, or you really simply don't want to be doing the management of all these planets. I would definitely start doing that when I get to about 15 to 20 planets. After 15 to 20, I think definitely at that point it's pretty unmanageable for me, but other people have other limits. So I mean, even here there's somewhere in the region of 12 planets I think we've got, somewhere around there, and that might be too many if for you, and that's fine. You know, that's completely okay. But the more that you can manage yourself, the better it will be. Now, something else I'm going to do as well is I'm going to be throwing a resolution in to the Galactic Council. So later on, I actually want this one here, greater than ourselves, to pass. Now, the reason I want this one to pass, even though at the moment I am authoritarian, I have stratified economy, by passing this, it will unlock the edict which will allow me to resettle pops. With the new Nemesis update that's coming soon, that's not going to be an issue, because our pops are going to be resettling themselves. So that's fine, but at this build of the game in 2.8, greater than ourselves is actually really quite essential for late game planetary management. It really helps with the unemployment, and it allows you to do strategies like building habitats simply for population growth, and then building ring worlds, completing the districts, and all of your population on these habitats that you're growing, where you've got a pop growth of say 9 or 10 or even 15 per month, they're going to jump straight into the ring worlds, and that's going to be kind of an interesting one. So I'm going to approve this Charter of Workers' Rights. So something I'm going to look at doing now is building some deep space black sites. So deep space black sites, they're going to produce a little bit of unity, that's fine, but what they're mainly going to do is they're going to add stability to planets in the system that you build them. So they do cost 100 alloys, so I wouldn't recommend building them until your planets are of quite a reasonable size, because what that stability is going to do is it's going to add +5, which is going to be +3% to the resource output of everything on the planet. Because if we look at stability, I'll go to our capital. Here we're on 84. That's adding plus 20.4% resources from jobs. It's increasing our trade value, and a little bit our immigration pool's going up, but that's not so useful. So I'm going, because we've got such a glut of alloys at the moment, I am going to add a few of these deep space black sites just to some planets which are a little bit older and have a reasonable build-up of population on. For instance, this one here has 37 pops, so a deep space black site here would be quite useful. Let's throw one in there, and then another one here at Gamesia. Yep, 39 pops, that'll be a good candidate. And so we finally researched neutron launchers, which is great. Let's take a look at what else we can take. So the positronic AI plus 5% to research speed, that's good. Artisan output, well, we are building 160 consumer goods at the moment per month. That could be useful, but actually I think the 5% research speed across the board would be better at this point. So we've got synthetic thought patterns now. That's really good. That's going to allow us to research the synthetic technology in the synthetics, or at least allow us to roll it now, so we have a chance of generating it. Looking through which technology we should take after that, the one that stands out to me the most at the moment will be Secrets of Life. This plus 20% research bonus to my society research. And now the Senate is in recess, so I've got some time here to decide which policy that I want to have put through. So first off, I could use my considerable weight to give people on the Galactic Council the ability to veto something. Now, that sounds good, that sounds fine, but actually I don't want to allow vetoes until really the council goes down to a size of at least 2, if not even waiting until the council has gone down to the size of 1 and therefore just myself in the council. So in a multiplayer game, for instance, I wouldn't want the council veto power to come anywhere near the council if I thought that I could maintain the political power to be the only member of the Galactic Council. On the other hand, if I didn't think that, if I was worried about that I was the second or the third most powerful in terms of diplomatic weight, I would definitely go for enabling the council veto power kind of at this point, because that would enable a balancing where you would be able to stop the reduction in size of the Galactic Council, in essence, which would be quite useful and necessary to maintain some form of control over the political world. So at the moment what I'm going to do, because I don't really care about this ban organic slavery, I also don't want to use my emergency measure to get the Charter of Workers' Rights in. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to get some favours and spend them on this Charter of Workers' Rights just to bump myself over the 4004 of support. And then after that's passed, I'm going to propose the council size changed to 2. And as you can see, some people are actually quite happy with that, which is quite good. And then once it gets down to 2, we should be then able to pass this enable council veto, and then following that we'll try and reduce the council size to 1. So let's just see who's not. So I'm going to hover over this, and this is going to show me which civilizations are supporting this. Well, basically it's myself and my tributary. So what I think I will do is this civilization here, I will attempt to give them something. Let's see, for favors. Let's just grab a couple of favors, and what can we give them? We can probably give them some alloys. They don't really like alloys that much. How much do they like energy? They really don't care very much about energy. Usually food is something that the AI quite likes. Yeah. So as you can see here, the food, let's look at how much it's worth to them. So 100 food is worth 2 of this trade acceptance. And if I look at alloys, 100 alloys is worth 5. So apparently food is worth 2 alloys worth the same as 5 food, or something roughly to that extent, which is obviously not what it's like in the galactic market. So I'm going to try and give them as much food as possible. In order to do that, I'm actually going to buy some food, and now that I've bought some, I've got some more food, so I can give them even more. So let's see, let's go up to 4. Let's go to resources, food, and let's see, 1,000 is going to be 20. Okay. Well, if we go up to 1,500, then we'll only need to give 200 alloys as well. Brilliant. So we'll send that across. They'll accept it because the trade is the acceptance value is 1, and that's just how the AI works. So brilliant, they've accepted. And now here I'm going to call in some favors. And I'll call in the favors from this civilization here, just to get over that threshold. So 471, that's going to cost me a little bit. This proposal is going to come in 120 days, this Charter of Workers' Rights. And that's also going to increase my diplomatic weight from POPs. And as you can see, I have a massive diplomatic weight from POPs, 721, as opposed to all of the other species. That's partly to do with the fact that, if we just look at empires by relative power, so that's partly to do with the fact that I have so many populations. I have 384. The other civilizations only have a few hundred in comparison. Even the determined exterminators only have 284. So what we actually want to do at this point really is form a federation with our neighbors over here. That's going to, or at least we want to form or get into a federation. So to do that, I'm going to, the next tradition I'm going to be taking is diplomacy, and then I'll take the federation tradition. Because what I want to do is I want to be in a federation so I can start leveling it up. And it'll also be quite nice to get access to a federation fleet. We are materialists, so we could go with either and we're authoritarian as well, so actually we could go with hegemony. I think the hegemony might be quite a good option. And then research, we've researched positronic AI. Let's go for some extra energy credits. And then let's see, have we rolled into synthetics? So let's go with something that is very cheap, because we actually really do want that synthetics. So let's go here with the afterburners. That should be done in just a couple of months. And a diplomatic proposal from our neighbours. Yes, we're going to agree to a defensive pact because we want them to be, in essence, at peace and quite happy. 226 from tech as well. Do we want a technology pact? 622. So I would always recommend not forming a technology pact with your neighbours. Now, the reason for this is that by forming these technology pacts, if you're vastly ahead of them, all you'll be doing is strengthening your neighbours, and you'll be getting basically no benefit out of it. It can be quite useful to form a technology pact if you're trying to improve relations. That's fine. And it can also be good if you are at a roughly equivalent technological level. And in multiplayer as well, there can be some reasons for forming technology pacts. But most of the time, I would actually recommend you stay away from it, because all that a technology pact is going to do is it's going to give you a bonus to your research when researching a technology that the other civilization already has. Now, if you're, as we are in this case, we have triple the technology weight that they do, we've most likely researched everything that they have. So we really don't mind about that. We can also take a look at the war here. How is it going? Well, it's not going very well for these guys. They have lost a system, and they've lost a planet. The determined exterminators are probably going to come in and purge them from the galaxy. And they've also lost this planet here. No, sorry, 001 have lost that planet. Okay, interesting. And now we've got the Charter of Workers' Rights on the Senate floor. I'm going to support the Enable Council veto power, but I'm going to also try and get a bit, mainly because I don't want this ban organic slave trade to go through, because it's simply a waste of time. I don't really care about banning the organic slave trade at this point, so it's not really something I'm going to be pursuing. Fantastic. So our neighbours have actually asked us to form a federation. Now they want to form a research cooperative. At this point, I actually don't want to form a research cooperative, and I'll just go through the bonuses with you just to explain why it is that's not the one I want. So what a research cooperative is going to do, the first thing it's going to do is give us all free research agreements. Well, as I've already mentioned before, that's not going to help me. That's not going to help my civilization. In a multiplayer game where one player is focusing on tech and the others are focusing on alloy production or shipbuilding or something along those lines, it could be research cooperatives can be very useful to boost up the behind member when one member is doing a tech rush. But in this case, it's not going to help me. As I level up that federation, yes, I'm going to get an increased research speed during the crisis. The research cooperative is not actually going to help me doing damage to crisis. Now, a martial alliance, on the other hand, which well, I'm not militaristic, so I can't form that, but we've got some neighbors who have a martial alliance. That gives plus 25% damage at level 4 and another plus 25% damage at level 5 to the Crisis. A Galactic Union, the standard vanilla Federation, does the same thing. That's another plus 50% damage to Crisis. The Traeg League only gives plus 25% damage, and the Hegemony only gives plus 25% damage. But the Hegemony gives some better bonuses to your resource output. So you're going to get plus 5% resources from jobs, and you'll get that quite a few times. That's at level 2, 3, and 4. And it also gives you some special casus belli, the Hegemony does. Now, at this point, actually, I'm probably going to go with the Galactic Union. So in essence, I'm definitely declining this, not because I don't want a Federation, but this is completely the wrong type. And now at this point, I'm going to start trying to identify some locations for fortress worlds. And I'm going to deal with these cultist marauders, because there's simply no point in leaving them around. There's no reason that they should still be alive. Yes, let's go with diplomacy. So I'm looking here at where I'd like to place some fortress worlds. So looking here, Wildor is a good location, a good candidate, or Jondas. Actually, I think Jondas, because it's slightly closer to my capital, it'll give me a better strike response time. So I want to basically put something here, and that'll lock off this wing if for instance, if the Corsairs get very angry. If the Corsairs, if the Great Khan is spawned, they might fly down here. Well, I've got a fortress habitat down here they won't be able to get through. I should be able to defend that. And now we've already got a research outpost, a research habitat here. And this, if we put down a few fortresses on this can double up as a fortress habitat. So we'll have locked off our core worlds this way. We could also put another one down here on Obnol. Or actually, we could just take our tomb world and turn that into a fortress world, which might be a good idea as well. And we've had the horizon signal come up. That's very cool. Maybe we will go and look at that in a moment. And then otherwise, where else should we go? Here at Massim, we should build one. Now, the reason I'm looking at Massim and not Haneri is that I've already got a starbase at Haneri. Now, when I build a fortress world, I want to build it somewhere without a starbase. And the reason I want to build it somewhere without a starbase is I want it to be very easy to recapture the system. I intend to lose that system and to a fleet, but I intend to keep it with the fortresses, with the special fortress building, which has the FTL inhibitor on it, and that will be able to stop any enemy fleets flying through and flying around. It also looks like the war up here in some ways is going. There's some interesting losses happening. Well, they've really smashed through along here, and I think they've killed quite a few of this species. They've only got 3 planets left. Wow. And then really this world here, Pajaduran, I should really throw some fortresses down there as well, just to kind of lock down the entryway. It's lock down this movement junction here. I'm not worried about the other civilizations going to war with me. I expect to be able to crush their fleets. But when the crisis spawns, I want to have quite a good solid defensive area in my core worlds to be able to stay alive. This is where I'm going to wrap up episode 19. If you've enjoyed this episode, please leave a like. If you've got any feedback, please leave a comment. And if you'd like to see more content like this, please subscribe. Thank you for watching.